That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about the 40-year-old version, the directorial view of Radha Blank, which premiered at the 2020 Sundance Film Festival, where she picked up the Best Directing Award in the drama category. And it will be available October 9th, 2020, courtesy of Netflix.
I was very impressed by this film.
Yeah, what a pleasant surprise this film was.
Just straight out the gate, I loved how it looked. Mm-hmm. It's set in Harlem, like modern day. I'm a native Los Angelino, don't know much about the East Coast, but I definitely felt like I was taken to a place.
Mm-hmm. So it's in black and white.
It's filmed in black and white.
Almost all of it. Which was lensed by Eric Branco, who shot Clemency.
Which I love that film. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the story is about a woman named
Radha.
Radha, some years ago, like a decade prior, was named 30 Under 30 by some notable magazine for a play she wrote. Mm-hmm. So she's like an up-and-coming theater entity that kind of let her flame fizzle. Mm-hmm. So we find her now teaching theater in a school. Mm-hmm. She's written another play, hoping to get it made, but that's not really happening. Her best friend,
Archie,
who's a gay Korean man, mm-hmm. He's also her agent. Mm-hmm. He tries to get her like an introduction with a producer to get her new show Harlem Ave off the ground. Mm-hmm. But they have an exchange that leads her to choke him. Mm-hmm. So that's off the table. But somehow Archie gets it back up and running, but the caveat is essentially like she has to just sell out because the producer, this old crusty white man,
played by Birney,
who from House of Cards,
amongst many other
things. Yeah, but that's how I know. He wants, if we're going to tell a story about Harlem, we need to show the gentrification, but also appeal to the people who are probably going to buy the tickets to see the show. So
she's basically forced to rewrite this play about a black couple and inject a white woman in there. Right.
So that doesn't work for her, but Archie convinces her, like, we need to pay these bills and I want to go on vacation, so you're taking this opportunity. Mm-hmm. So she does, she's working on that, but at the same time, she sort of has an epiphany that, because she relates to the audience that when she was in high school, she used to like do rap battles in the cafeteria. And we see her rapping, and she's very talented.
Well, it's after that choking incident where she's like crying alone in her apartment eating ribs and pound-to-pound cakes. Like she hears a snippet of that, and she just spins this rap about how she feels as a 40-year-old in her body. And
so she finds some guy on social media who's a producer, and she decides she wants to make a mixtape. Mm-hmm. So she just shows up at this person's place with a bag of weed as payment, mm-hmm. listens to some music. Their initial exchange is very awkward because she ends up getting super high, waking up at like 2 in the morning and having to walk to the train station by herself. She's very upset by that. She goes back to confront the kid, telling him like, how could you let a woman like me, like what kind of man, like gentleman are you to let a woman walk to a train station at 2 a.m.? But he warms up to her slightly.
Well, no, he was sitting on the stoop and he said, well, you walked down to the convenience store and bought some Funyuns and then made it to the train at 2.
He was trying to explain to her that he was watching her. Yeah. Like, he didn't just let her go. So he sort of warms up to her. He plays music for her. She records. Mm-hmm. It's impressive. He's impressed. He shows interest in her. So that's a plus. Mm-hmm. So that's going up, but then what's going down is Harlem Ave, the musical, because it's not the vision she had, and even some of the black cast members are like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
So opening night comes, she was able to make her play, and it's, in a good way, a shit show. It's just trash. Like, clearly not her vision.
Right.
So at the end, when she goes to take her flowers, she basically spits a rhyme just shitting on all these motherfuckers who assumed that she was just going to sell out and be okay with it. Drops the mic, walks out. Her best friend tells her he's proud of her, but also he quits. Mm-hmm. She goes outside to meet her little DJ, music producer friend, mm-hmm. who they ended up hooking up. So now he's like a love interest. Mm-hmm. And they just walk off into the night. And
it very beautifully transcends from a black and white film to all the colors in the room, if you will, evening out.
The end. So I didn't. This was not on my list to watch.
I started
because
it
I'm a very busy person, very important. But he started it, and I saw it, and it like the visual caught my attention, and then the writer, the lead,
Radha Blank.
That's her name.
Yeah,
her real name. She was transfixing. I really loved her voice. I liked her look, her vibe. So then we rewound it, and I started it, and yeah, very impressed.
It initially, the look of it and her vibe initially made me feel something like Issa Rae in a John Cassavetes film. But it is more than any of those kind of comparisons. I think this feels like something written by someone that has had something to say, that is finally able to
get it out.
And I read an interview with her, and she's actually one of the most unproduced like black writers in New York. So she wrote. Spike Lee brought her on for his television series version of She's Gotta Have It.
Oh. She's so talented because her acting was strong, her writing strong, her rap lyrics were very strong, and her flow was tight. So, can this bitch dance? That's what I need to know. I really like her look.
It's just very touching, very poignant. It verges on a parody of as she wrote. She's talking to Dee, who's her love interest. The white gaze is eroticism of black pain, and there's so many things to write like that are so that should be over the top but aren't. They're also like painfully real.
Yeah, because it's not it's not like a Christopher Guest movie. It's like it felt more real than. It is funny.
Satire. Yeah.
It is, yes, more real than it's more authentic than satire, but it is funny.
Well, oh god, all of the like brilliant little conversations dipping in and out when she goes to talk to Jay Whitman at that first party, and you hear all these crusty old white people talking about the female version of 12 Angry Men and multiracial version of Fences.
But you think I'm assuming she didn't have a huge budget. You think with whatever little resources she had to make this film look elegant with the help of the cinematographer and to create all the music, right? Because there's a showcase, not a rap battle. Well, there is actually a rap battle at one point, but there's also a showcase where she shows up and we expect her to kill it, but then she gets high and gets the giggles but to do all of that, then to put on a theater production within the film, it's just wow.
And with the kids too, the kids that she's teaching are putting on.
And her students, they're all very well acted. There's a lesbian who's in love with her. There's also a boy who's in love with her, and it's very cute, but it felt real because they're kind of disrespectful, but also they have sort of an admiration for her.
Oh, and then the whole backstory. Her mother had died in the past year, who was a struggling artist. And a woman who did accomplish some of her goals, but there's that in the background, and her mourning the loss of her mother. That's just very subtle, but so well done.
What I was going to say though is, what's her name again?
Radha.
Radha. If Radha can do this, imagine what she could do with
Access.
So I'm for that reason, I'm super impressed. What would you give this film?
First, I want to say Ava DuVernay was the first black woman to win Best Director at Sundance for Middle of Nowhere back in 2012. And if you can see, the after effects of that weren't immediate, but if you can see how she's grown over the past decade as one of the most prominent black voices out there, I think that hopefully this will be the same journey for Radha Blank.
I would love to see more things from her.
It's one of those films I could talk more about. I think one of my last notes was when she does the mic drop at the end and FYOV, where 40-year-old version, and find your own voice and fund your own, what's the word? Not selling out means maybe we have to let go of the old way of doing things. We have to forge new paths. And I don't know, this was a very inspiring film. And I think it ends perfectly. I would give it 4 out of 5.
I would give it 4 out of 5 as well. Bye.
Bye.